Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday. It is the 22nd day of April 2022. I hope you are all healthy and safe today. I hope that your family and needs of your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and those that are the first responders who every day are only seeking to save lives, and those that pick up garbage to keep streets and sidewalks clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience, and double blessings on the men and women that every day are trying to rescue, deliver, and recover the victims of child molestation and pedophilia, the victims of pornography and child pornography, the victims of pedophilia, child pornography, prostitution, child prostitution, sex slavery, human trafficking, and double curses from the Most High on the perpetrators, the perverts, and the profiteers who are trafficking in this human misery for money and sick pleasure. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children on the streets of the United States of America and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So the New York Knicks season is over. But I'm watching some of the playoffs. And yesterday I was traveling, and I'm in Orlando. Well, I'm outside of Orlando, Florida now. And those of you that want to get together in Orlando, just as a side note, we could probably do that if some of y'all are available on Sunday. Today is Friday. So we can make some arrangements to meet at a restaurant or something on Sunday. If you want to do that, please just email me, rawhebrewremnant 12 at gmail. I'll put my email address in the description box. It's in most of the time. Sometimes I don't have time to put it in there, but I'll put the email address in the description box. And if you want to get together this weekend in Orlando at some restaurant, we'll do that. Let me know. Well, just, and then we'll get a consensus and we'll get together. All right. But so I'm watching the Memphis game against the Timberwolves, the Memphis and Minnesota game. Now, I'm sure that a lot of the Knicks Nation were watching the Utah-Dallas game, and for good reason. I mean, people are hoping that we can get a savior in Donovan Mitchell to come and save the Knicks. And I explained in another video why that's highly unlikely to happen. And if it did happen, it would cost us dearly in terms of the talent that we have accumulated. That we could get Jalen Brunson, but I feel like it would be a detriment to the development of both Emmanuel Quickley and Deuce McBride. I can understand, though, the thing about Jalen Brunson is that if we were to acquire Jalen Brunson flat out as a free agent, which I doubt is going to happen, it would probably be a sign and trade. But if we were to acquire Jalen Brunson as a free agent, it will not hurt the Knicks in the sense that he had coming. He's using these playoffs as his coming out party. As Dallas beat Utah last night in Utah, and he, that is Jalen Brunson, led seven players in double figures with no Luka Doncic. He's using these players as his coming out party. He's now elevated his game, and see, this is the thing, brethren. The NBA playoffs are the most intense basketball tournament in the world. Period. This ain't I'm not saying the European championships are not intense. I'm not saying the NCAA tournament is not intense, but none of them are the NBA playoffs. So like a guy could go off and have, tremendous tournament in the European Championship. That doesn't mean he could play in the NBA. Okay, that's happened. That doesn't mean they could play in the NBA. They could have great championships, and that don't mean they're going to be anything in the NBA, but maybe an average player. Okay, or a guy could have the games of his life, like Caleb Love, I think his name was, from North Carolina. Everybody started hyping because he went off in NCAA. That does not mean he can play in the NBA. There's been a lot of most outstanding players in the NCAA tournament that could not play in the NBA. Okay, it's intense, it's big time, it's drama filled, it's entertaining, and there's a lot of talented players. Matter of fact, I always say you need at least one or two NBA level players on your team to win the NCAA tournament. And that doesn't mean those are star NBA players, but they're usually NBA level talent. But that's not the NBA playoffs. The best of the best is in the NBA playoffs. Okay. So if you show out in the NBA playoffs, you can play. It's not a fly by night thing. It's not like a one off. It's not just that you're having, a rhythm or whatever and you'll never do it again. No, you can play if you do this in the NBA playoffs. Okay. So what Jalen Brunson is doing now, he's proving me wrong, everybody else, in terms of he's elevating his game to where, he's like Fred VanVleet or Kyle Lowry at this point, the way he's playing basketball. And defensively, while he is not I would never put him not at this point, on an all NBA defensive team. He's not, he's going to give you the effort, and he's so smart on both sides of the basketball. And that's the thing. He uses his brain on a genius level on the basketball court. And so, he's using these NBA playoffs as his coming out party. Some people say, well, I got to see him do it after he scored 41. I got to see him. No, you don't have to see anymore. He's in the NBA playoffs doing this. This is not the NCAA tournament. Somebody score 41 NCAA tournament, they might get cut in the NBA. That's just how it is, man. And then in the European tournament, they may not see the NBA or not be able to hang. Okay, that's just how it is, yo. Okay, but in the NBA playoffs, nah, he could play. Okay, he can play. Period. So when I said that is to say, the acquisitions that the New York Knicks got last year, the two major acquisitions were Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. Okay, they did not elevate the New York Knicks. We can nitpick about why, what, or whatever. Evan shot well or whatever. We were 37 and 45. Period. Okay, they did not elevate the New York Knicks. Brunson would. That's the thing about it. My point is that if we were to acquire Jalen Brunson, he's not going to hurt the New York Knicks. He's going to help the New York Knicks. He might hurt the development of some of our younger players, maybe, but he's not going to hurt us. And that's a good thing. Now, paying a lot of money for him is the problem I have, because you're going to pay RJ Barrett. Okay, you're going to pay RJ Barrett. I don't know if they're going to end up paying Mitchell Robinson. I hope they do, but let's put that aside. If they pay him, they got to pay him. You're going to have payment decisions to make with Obi Toppin, not this season, but next summer. You're going to have decisions to make with him and Emmanuel Quickly. You got to have decisions to make. Okay, money decisions. And so with these things coming down the line, and you still got, at this point, as of today, Julius Randle's on your payroll. So is Evan Fournier. They're on your payroll. Okay. But at 23 million, 25 million, and 18 million, respectively. So you got cap implications and you got decisions to make next year. Now, I really believe that Leon Rose perfectly understands what I just said, and that he's thinking ahead. But those are the implications. But Jalen Brunson is going to cost more money now, because he's showing. Not only can he play in the NBA, he could lead a team in the playoffs without Luka Doncic. That's the thing that's killing me. And they beat Utah in Utah. Okay, so that is what it is. But I was watching, really, though, the Memphis Minnesota game, and the reason I was watching that game, brother, is because, like, I'm watching, for example, I'm looking at the Minnesota roster. So you got Jaden McDaniels out of Washington in his second year, right? Anthony Edwards out of Georgia in his second year, right? You got Jared Vanderbilt out of Kentucky in his 4th season. You got D'Angelo Russell, believe it or not, is in his 7th season. Him and Cat in their 7th season. Cat was the number 1 overall pick, and Russell was 2nd, I think, in that same draft. Okay. Russell had been around, like he went to the Lakers. He was drafted by the Lakers. Then we know he was traded to the Nets. And then he really developed under Kenny Atkinson at the Nets. And then there was a sign and trade. That's how the Nets got Kevin Durant. It was a sign and trade with him and D'Angelo Russell to Golden State. And then finally he ends up in Minnesota with Cat in a trade with Wiggins. So then they got the old dog Patrick Beverley as their vet, right? And then on the Memphis side, I'm watching. Here's Zaire Williams out of Stanford, his rookie year, right? You got Desmond Bane in his 2nd year, John Morant in his 3rd season, Brandon Karp in his 3rd season, D'Anthony Melton in his 4th season, Jaren Jackson Jr. in his 4th season, Dylan Brooks in his 5th season, and then their veteran, their oldest dude is Steven Adams. He's 28. And you got Tyus Jones out of Duke in his 7th season, and he's 26, or he's 25, going to be 26. And I'm thinking to myself, brethren, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I'm saying that could be the Knicks in 2 years. That could be the Knicks in 2 years, playing playoff basketball like that with the young player. That's why I was excited when I was watching it, because I'm looking at what? I'm seeing R.J. Barrett. I'm seeing Manuel Quickley. I'm seeing Obi Toppin. I'm seeing Deuce McBride. I'm seeing these guys in 2 seasons and what we could be if we develop our kids in 2 seasons. What can the Knicks could be right there, y'all. And I want to tell you, y'all gonna think I'm real crazy, but if you take away all of them veterans and you let Tom Thibodeau just have these kids, they'll be there. I'm trying to tell y'all, they'll be there. They'll be the Minnesota, Memphis playoff teams, because he will get everything out of them. See, the problem with Tibbs, or one of the issues, and this is the thing, brethren, that we got to understand too. There's no such thing as a perfect coach. I mean, every coach has their flaws, man. And in New York, the flaws are magnified. I don't care what the coach is. If you brought any coach in here, there's going to be a contingent in Knicks Nation that hates that coach and thinks they shouldn't have hired him, and maybe he should be fired. First losing streak, they're going to be doing that. That's what happened. So I'm not saying Thibodeau don't have his faults. He definitely does. And some of his faults lost us games this year. But every coach does, right? But his particular, one of them, as we know, is this obsession with playing veterans, okay, above young kids with talent. And especially when you have a team that has what they had this year. They had 4 rookies. They had 2 guys in their first that had just completed their first year. They had 2 guys that just completed their 2nd year. They had, they got a lot of young players, right? And he was benching most of them. So anyway, if we could get these vets, I'm just saying, let's clean the vets out. Period. Keep 1 or 2. Like I said, I like to keep Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson because they are willing to be the mentors. They don't have that ego that they got to play, and they the seniority and all that. They want to mentor the young kids, and they can still help us, with some minutes, but they don't need to take over the minutes. I like those 2. The rest of the vets you could just send out. And as a matter of fact, to be quite honest with you, I'm kind of concerned about Derrick Rose's because his salary is tradable. He's on an expiring deal. He can really help a playoff team, and he can be included in a trade, man. Like, if Dallas was to lose Brunson, Derrick Rose would be a perfect replacement because you got him coming off your bench. You start Hardaway, and he's expiring. So you're going to have $15 million of cap space at the end of next season from his contract. So I'm concerned about the possibility of them trading D Rose. And I, some might say, well, Tom Thibodeau loves D Rose. I think this year, brethren, with Leon Rose's job now also in jeopardy, I don't think he cares what Tom Thibodeau wants. I think he'll consult with Thibodeau. But I think at the end of the day, he's going to do what it takes to save his job. Because the Knicks start off next year as disappointing. See, this is the thing. You could sell to the New York Knicks fan base, we're playing the young guys and we're losing games. You could sell that because the Knicks fan base is, for the most part, smart enough as far as basketball to understand what that means. If you're rebuilding and you're developing, okay, as long as they're giving 100% effort every night, I think the fans would like that. You could sell that. But what you can't sell is bringing in high-priced veterans and losing, and then sitting all of the kids that you drafted. You can't sell that in New York, as we just saw. That's not gonna fly. So if Thibodeau was to go back to this veteran-laden, heavy minutes thing in the beginning of next year, and they start off slow, I don't think he's gonna last to the All-Star game. You're gonna hear the fire Thibodeau chants at Madison Square Garden, and that'll be that. So I think if any persons in basketball that's not players understand that, it's Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau. Okay? Because Tibbs has been in New York. He knows New York. Leon has handled players. He knows the game. He knows how this is. If you start hearing fire so-and-so coach chants at Madison Square Garden, Mr. Dolan's going to hear. And that's, that normally doesn't end well. All right? So this coming season, with what Leon Rose actually put out in the letter that he just had last week, spelling out multiple times young core. That's what we're doing now. We're selling the young core to the fans. So you can expect to see, and then with what Mark Berman has been saying, that Thibodeau is looking to expand the roles of some of the young core. And he mentioned players like Miles McBride, who didn't hardly play this year. So I'm excited about that, but it helped me last night watching Memphis against Minnesota, because I was on the plane, and the plane has this internet where you can get internet on the plane, and I was looking at a movie to see if I was going to watch a movie, but then I saw that they played the game, and I was able to watch the game while I was on the plane, and I was like, whoa. And at the time, Minnesota was really handing a beat down to Memphis. Now, I really thought Memphis was going to come back because they're the better team, I think, overall. Memphis has been a buzzsaw all year. And so they did come back from 26 down to beat Minnesota. But it was playoff basketball. It was intense NBA playoff basketball last night. And so I'm thinking, I was looking at that saying, Dag, I see RJ Barrett. I see Emmanuel Quickley. I see Obi Toppin. I see Mitch Robb. I see Deuce McBride. I see Grimes. And I'm thinking, we could be that. In 2 seasons, that could be us on national TV playing in the playoffs. Meaningful games and being a threat to win. And so it really depends on what the Knicks do this summer. This summer is going to be interesting. What are they going to do? Are they going to try to sell the team to go get Donovan Mitchell? I hope not. Are they going? Because that's what you have to do, y'all. You're going to give up at least 3 of your young pieces. Probably at least 3. You're going to give up at least 3 number 1 draft picks. You're going to give that up. That's it. And one of those 3 young pieces are going to include a guy like an RJ Barrett. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I don't think we should do that. Okay. That's just another way of saying, same old Knicks. Let's go get a savior to save us. No. Build the right way. Develop. Again, what are we looking at? We're looking at Cat was drafted by Minnesota. Okay. You got McDaniels drafted by Minnesota. Anthony Edwards drafted by Minnesota. Josh Okogie drafted by Minnesota. Jet Vanderbilt drafted by Minnesota. You have all of these young players drafted by that team, and they play integral parts in them becoming a playoff team. Okay. And Cat, he went through a lot of hell over there as far as losing, in Minnesota, to the point where people were like, well, he's going to leave. He's going to the Knicks, of course. But no, he's there. They built a winner over there. Then, of course, Jaren Jackson Jr. was 18 when he came out from Michigan State, and now he's in his fourth season. Desmond Bane, we like Desmond Bane coming out of TCU. He was an older player, but obviously, this cat is a player. He could shoot. He could defend. You got DeAnthony Melton. You got Tyus Jones. You got Brandon Clark, who I like coming out of Gonzaga. Another older guy, he's in his third season, but he's like 26, something like that. But he's playing the key role. Zaire Williams, John Morant, all of these cats, man. Dylan Brooks, man, I didn't know anything about him when he came out of Oregon. He slipped by me. I was not, until I seen him play on Memphis, is when I really first noticed him. And man, he could play. He's another guy that could play. I'm sure he wasn't like a high draft pick. Let me see. Dylan Brooks is 26, 6'7", 225. This cat could play though. He could really play. He came in the league in 2017. He was drafted 15th pick of the second round, 45th overall, second rounder. Yeah, man. And they got a player. See. And that's how you do it. You building youth. You're getting guys like a Dylan Brooks in the second round, right? And you're getting value out of them, and they're contributors. That's the way to go, y'all. That's the way to go. We got Mitchell Robinson in the second round, right? We got Deuce McBride in the second round. We got Jericho Sims in the second round. That's the way to go. We got a lace first round pick in Quentin Grimes. Then you add that to your RJ Barrett, who you drafted third overall, right? Like John Morant drafted in that same draft, second overall. You add that to it. Then you sprinkle in a couple of veterans. You don't laden the team with them, but you sprinkle them in. Okay, I'm telling you, y'all, we could be that team. We could be one of those teams in 2 years. We can. Some people don't even think past 2 months, 2 weeks. But you got to think ahead. In 2 seasons, we could be that. We got to develop the kids we got. And then I don't know, who we're going to pick this season, but this draft pick. But you know what? At 11, you're going to get a good player. You're going to get a good player at 11. You're going to get a good player at 11. I would really want to favor the youth this year, though. I really would. I don't want to rush to try to get, a veteran and think that they're going to just change everything. No one player is going to do it. You got to have a team. You got to have a team. You got to have a team that you develop. Okay. So hopefully the Knicks got that. Hopefully they do. You're going to hear all kinds of names every summer, brethren. It's almost like people forget, but every summer you hear all kinds of names coming to New York. It's mostly just rumor. It's mostly just players, agents trying to bump up the price of the player by threatening to go to New York and get paid a gazillion dollars or whatever. No. I don't want Damian Lillard. I don't want Damian Lillard. I don't want him. We don't need Bradley Beal. We just need to develop. See? Look at these guys. Minnesota, small market. Memphis, small market. Look what they're doing, man. And I'm telling you, we could do that. And this is the thing about being in New York. If those two teams, if Memphis was the New York Knicks, you talk about noise, you talk about hype, you talk about intensity. Man, there's no place like Madison Square Garden. So I'm excited. When I saw those two teams, I said, man, this is what the Knicks could be in 2 seasons. We got the pieces. We just got to develop them. Play these cards right. So anyway, y'all have a good weekend. Be safe out there, y'all. And, we'll wrap. We're going to do the Bible study tonight. I'm in Florida now at my father's house. We're going to do the Bible study tonight. He's coming home from the rehab today. We can go get him this morning. And so then we're going to make arrangements to make sure he's okay. I'm not sure how long I'll be down here, but we'll figure it out. But anyway, y'all have a good weekend. Be safe out there. We'll talk. Shalom.